Footy and Frothies, 10th of October 2021. It is time for our time-honoured, much vaunted season sign-off, the Bold Prediction Show. Our second one, steeped in history, this, 2 years running. And we're going to go back and look back at some of our predictions from 12 months ago before we signed off. And then we're going to look forward to 2022 and, as I said last year, throw some shit against the wall and see what might stick. No serious analysis here. It's all about some bold predictions, we hope. We've got plenty of correspondence in as well, which I'll get through as we get into it. But first of all, we've made it through lockdown, boys. Well done. Well done on getting through this season in pretty fine style. Oliver, you're lucky enough to be joining me outdoors in person. How are you?
Yeah, pretty good. Pretty good. Yourself? It's weird being in the same place as someone again. But
I don't know where to make eye contact.
Yeah, I know. It's to me because Barney unfortunately couldn't make it today, so he's on the Zoom still.
Yeah,
but
Barney's like the floating heads from Futurama.
But tomorrow we'll all be reunited at the Grey Gums Hotel, and that I'll give Barney his big cuddle then that he promised me, and we'll go from there.
What a treat! I look forward to that. Hope everyone's doing well. Hope everyone's stayed safe. Hope everyone's all jabbed up and good to go. And look forward to being out and about and having a bit of fun. So I guess we'll get into, why don't we kick off and look back at some random predictions from early last year, and then we'll go team by team. So Jacob wrote in last year and said AJ Brimson or Kalen Ponga, Daly M, and both their teams will make the top 8. I don't think I've got to get my sound effects ready.
They both made the top 8, which is something.
They did both make that, so we'll give half a point there. Barn also said that Trev Smith will compete in a triathlon or a Mr. Universe contest. We missed on those ones. We had a couple others mention Tony Finch, Tigers to break the final drought. And no Faluma to be moved on. I wonder how annoying that's going to get over the hour. AJ Brimson, Daly, a few others are all team by team. So there are a few of the early ones. Some suggestions that, so nothing so far. Daggy will jag a shit ton of quaddies and buy us a beer. You're close there, Barn. Damo will burn his jersey when Para get knocked out in the first week of the finals. Volandis will change the 6 again rule to be a penalty in their own half. I might save that for every second one now. The first fine for a coach will be assault with a sack of doorknobs. The second fine will be kneecapping. Ollie said the NRL start a boxing league. We tip super coach stars here. Ollie Magulius, Barney Tino, Daggy Cade Ellis. Tally M's, Ollie Paynehaas, Barney RTS, Daggy AJ Brimson. Wow, we all missed on them. We all agreed Ryan James was going to be Barney's buy of the year. Tino was going to be Ollie's buy of the year, which
pretty close.
Close. Who do we vote in buy of the year?
I think we had Papali in
Papali'i.
and Fanua Blake, probably the top 2.
So pretty close. And I said Tino from Offahengawe, so missed out on a lot of them. So I don't think we've got anything yet. Barney also predicted Ollie would leave Footy and Frothies and become a daytime talk show host. Nelly. He's just a quizmaster at the moment. Old Glen Ridge over here. All right. Shall we kick off with what have we got here? So we're going to work in reverse ladder order, Barn. So we'll kick off with the Bulldogs, and I'll give you the first crack.
All right, so we're going. Okay, so I've got them.
Hang on, I should actually read what we said about them last year. There's 2. So Barney said, lucky to win 4 games at all this year, and Averillo will be their best player.
Yes, we got one.
So we've got one. Ollie, Nick Meaney will be a revelation at halfback.
Wasn't it fullback?
Fullback.
Wasn't necessarily a revelation, but he was good.
I think he was good.
He went good when he got a go. Yeah.
Around the time he signed for Melbourne, he started playing really well, which I don't blame him.
And I said that they will become the hottest forward pack in the NRL, and Jack Hetherington will play State of Origin. and a couple others tipped them to make the top 8. They were both wrong. So, yeah, you can open the batting here, Barn.
Yeah, so I've got them to actually triple their wins for this year, to be honest. I think they'll go from 3 up to somewhere around 9. Even though they'll get up to around 9 wins, I think this next year is actually going to be a little bit closer, with some of the top sides falling away a little bit. So that 9 wins, I think, will still just get them out of the bottom 4. I think Tavita Pangai Jr. will probably be the buy of the season, or close enough to it.
Mm-hmm.
And I think Corey Allen and Flanagan maybe moved on by the Bulldogs by the end of the season.
I know all this. There's a lot of hype and hope around them. I'm tipping them to convincingly miss the top 8. I think they'll do better, like you said, somewhere around 8 or 9 wins is probably fair. And my prediction was the same, that at least 2 of their backline will be moved on at some point this season. I was thinking, maybe Allen or Flanagan, or their other centre who's done a winger, Kotrick maybe. So, but yeah, I think 2 of them will be given the nudge or the tap on the shoulder some way through the year. Ollie.
Yeah, so I'm not sure if I've actually told everyone on the podcast before, but I know you boys know I've made a bet with one of my mates from school who is a delusional Bulldog supporter. I'll say he thinks they're going to comfortably make the 8. So I made a bet with him that if they finish 9th or above, I would get the pretty much the shit Bulldogs logo, the one from where they last won the comp in 04. There's the Bulldogs head in the
circle.
It like grumpy Bulldog head.
Oh, yeah.
And anyway, I said that if they finish 9th or above, I get that tattooed on my ass. I still don't think they're going to finish 9th or above, but I'm tipping that at some point in the season, I'll be a bit worried that I'll have to get this tattoo, and I'm tipping it'll probably be around Origin time. I think they might string a few wins together and probably be up around there, but ultimately I think they'll slip away and probably finish around 11th or 12th.
So I think we're all in on that, saying that they will... they'll struggle this year, which, I think we can all agree. A few other random we've had. What have we got here? Dogs, Evan Parsons, good supporters, tipped them to finish 8th. And and that's about it. Ollie was just talking about how he won't be able to sit down on his tattoo. All right. The Cowboys. I am tipping the Cowboys for the wooden spoon. And not necessarily that bold, but
You got last year's ones, mate? Come on.
Oh, I do too. Sorry. All right. Last year. Well, I think we all missed the mark here. Cowboys. Barney, Granville will be dropped from the starting side and potentially moved on. Won't be starting hooker by round 12. I'll give you that. Wasn't moved on, but he wasn't starting hooker.
Ended up at fullback.
Yes.
He was dropped for a bit as well, so...
I tipped the wooden spoon and that Drinkwater will be moved on. And Ollie, Felt and Holmes will combine for 30-plus tries, and one of them will be the top try scorer in the comp.
Well, in my defence, I thought they were going to have some semblance of a brain and keep Holmes on the wing all year. So, no. But I'll cop the L on that one. That was embarrassing.
As I was saying, my prediction for this year is the wooden spoon again. I'll double down, and I think Todd Payton might be the first coach on the chopping block this year. Barney?
Nice. I'm with you there with the wooden spoon. I can't see them winning more than about 5 games for the entire season, to be honest. I think they'll score a few more points than what they did this year, but the defence is horrible. So wooden spoon it is. They've got Chad or Thomas Dearden to be moved on by the end of the season, even though they've only just come there this year.
I looked at Chad for a long time thinking there's no way he finishes this year.
But I also think that Hamiso Fidel will be their player's player with probably the most tries and try assists for that Cowboys team.
Excellent. Ollie?
I've got to agree with you, Blake. I've got them winning the wooden spoon. It's probably, at least heading into a season, from what I've seen, the most unanimous choice to win a wooden spoon. I don't think I've seen anyone not tip them yet, or at least not 15th or 16th. And I'm going to say Peyton probably gets sacked by about round 5. They start the season 0-5. And to make it a bit different to you boys, I have a feeling possibly this might be it, where Taumalolo has enough and maybe at the end of the year mutually parts way with the Cowboys.
To go to England or get picked up somewhere else?
You'd have to think probably the Roosters and the Cowboys can pay half of his contract, and
that's generally what happens.
Yeah.
Excellent. The Broncos. Ollie tipped Haas for the Dally M, and said that if it wasn't him, it would be Clint Gutherson.
Ugh.
Barney tipped. Oh, I tipped 12 tries for Herbie, and they won't win the spoon. Did he get 12 tries?
I'm not sure.
I'm not sure. He scored a few.
I'll have a look. I don't know if you might be. I think it was double figures. I don't know if it was 12.
Well, if he's 12 or above, I think we give it a.
Where are they? Are you looking that up, Barn, or am I?
I'm trying to find it.
Oh, you
I
looked
don't
that
know
up.
where I'm going to find it though.
Brisbane Broncos try scorer.
Keep reading them on and
Yep. All right. He has this one. Barney tipped that Croft and Milford will both be dropped and then moved on from the club, and they will finish in the bottom 4.
Was this the big one?
That was the big one.
That
I
was
think that's
really good.
I think he's nailed that. That's the leader, clubhouse leader for this year's prediction show. And no other predictions from out wide. Sorry, Croft will be moved to hooker. Dearden will be halfback of the year. Milford will be 5'8" of the year, and Corey Oates will be dropped. They're from some celebrity guests.
So, 9 was it 9 tries?
9 tries. All right. So Barney, you're clubhouse leader at the moment. For this year, Ollie, what are you thinking?
Well, it's weird. It's a bit of a bold prediction. People are sort of tipping them to finish around there, but I'm going to make a statement, draw a line in the sand, and say Brisbane finish 8th, back in the top 8.
I'll go you two better. I'm going to say Brisbane will finish 6th, and they'll have a on the back of their hot forward pack, and obviously Adam Reynolds bringing a lot of direction to the club. Barney?
I've got them only just missing the 8. I think they'll finish probably 9th. I think Flegler might struggle this year, coming off the back of injuries, and he's I've just got a feeling that he's not going to have a real good year this year. On the flip side of that, I think Patrick Carrigan will cement his name even further than what he already has, and he'll be someone that's been talked about as one of the better players at the end of the season. Reynolds will be fantastic. He'll be their top point scorer by a mile. And I'm actually going to go with Jordan Pereira to be the top try scorer for the Broncos next year.
Nice.
I think he'll get a starting spot in the wing, and he'll benefit from Reynolds being there. So
I like Pereira, good player, and I like what Cape will bring to their forward pack, and getting Carrigan back, and a couple of young fellas coming through. So exciting times for Brisbane.
Yeah, well, I remember there was that period in 2020 when the Dragons hit that little bit of form once Merritt found out he'd been sacked, and Ravalawa and Pereira were arguably the form win combination in the comp, and they both got dropped for no reason.
yes,
It wasn't, they weren't injured or anything, and
Still don't know why.
Yeah.
he was good at doing that actually. Oh, Mary,
Yeah.
he just dropping blokes for the hell of it.
Let's get to the Tigers. Barney tipped they'll finish 14th, and Billy Walters will be their best player if he's fit. Ollie tipped them for the wooden spoon. And I tipped they will sign a marquee player for 2022, and Daggy will rejoice.
I think Hastings
Is Hastings
counts.
marquee?
For the Tigers, yes, 100%.
And I guess Oliver Gildart's one of the best centres in the world, apparently. So
Well, in
We'll see what he
England,
brings.
so we'll see.
at this time, Trevor Smith called in and said that the Tigers will have the most dominant forward pack in 2021. And Tony Finch tipped them to make the finals, but no Faluma will be sacked. Let's get to the Warriors.
What about our picks for this year?
Oh, didn't we do that? Whoops. Yeah, that's how it
He
works.
doesn't want to talk about it.
I will tip Oliver Gildart centre of the year. There we go.
Ooh.
I'm keeping the Lockhart train going. Oliver Gildart to finish the season as the Tigers' top try scorer. So to do this, whoever he gets partnered with, whether it's Mamalo or Nofaluma, might not be too happy with him. I'm tipping maybe a bit of a Wonga Blake.
Season.
Don't pass the ball and just go for it yourself.
Barney?
Yeah, so I'm going to go with the Tigers to finish in the bottom 4. Brooks or Madge to be moved on, or possibly both by the end of the season. Stefano will be their player's player, I think. And again, we'll get into that the extended New South Wales squad come Origin time. I think Hastings may struggle for the first 4 or 6 games, but he'll come good by sort of halfway through the season. So.
Yeah, well, I imagine he'd be. We'll analyse the team next year. We'll move on. interesting to see who partners him in the halves. The Warriors. Last year I said they'll finish top 6, and Chanel Harris Tavita will be 5'8" of the year. Barney said top 8, pushing top 4. And Ollie will finish 7th or 8th.
They're a bit disappointing, those Warriors, eh?
They were a bit disappointing. I'm saying for this year that either Ewan Aitken or Josh Curran will play representative footy as a second rower.
Right.
Will be in hot form next year, and one of them will make the I think they're both New South Welshmen, will make the extended New South Wales squad. Ollie?
I've got the Warriors to finish 15th. I think they're going to drop right down, at least for this year, because it seems all the players that they're targeting and trying to sign is for 2023. They brought in SJ, who he's great when he's on, but he's been injury prone. I feel like Reece Walsh has been exposed this year a bit, and it's going to be interesting how he reacts to the recent off-field situation. I just don't necessarily see him hitting his straps, maybe getting that bit of a sophomore syndrome in his second year. And I've put here in brackets, sorry, AFB and Fanua Blake, because I feel like it definitely won't be his fault that they finish there. And Nathan Brown to be the second coach sacked.
Yeah, Brownie might be under pressure, Barn.
Right. Okay. I think they'll actually improve from what they put on this year. I think Sean Johnson actually adds a fair bit, especially in attack, which they were missing a lot of direction last year in their halves. As long as they can keep him on the field, I think they'll still just miss the 8, but they'll be one of those teams fighting for that bottom 8 position at the end of the year. You've both stolen one of mine each, actually. Walsh to struggle with second-year syndrome, and Curran to be included in the wider New South Wales squad. As I mentioned, I think they'll just miss the 8. Let's find another one off the top of my head, because I had 2 of them stolen. Adam Fanua Blake, front row of the year.
Very good. St George Illawarra. How about this one, Oliver? Where are we? Got to find him now. I tipped, I had a bonus tip that Ravalawa will be in the top 5 wingers in the game. I think I got that run wrong. Mm-hmm. I also tipped that Cade Ellis would be an elite prop and a super coach star.
He's off to Wigan.
Barney tipped them the wooden spoon. And Ollie tipped them to make the 8. They have talent on paper. Lomax and McGuinness, consistent. Lomax and Ravalawa will be the best centre wing combo in the game. And then we had a discussion about whether the Dragons keep McGuinness, and Barney said, of course they will.
But Barney doesn't mind being wrong.
Yeah. What are you saying, Barn?
Well, Dragons are idiots for letting go of McGuinness.
Let me write that down.
I think they'll end up with almost the exact same stats as they had last year. But as I mentioned earlier, I think the bottom half will actually have a few more wins. So they won't actually finish any higher than what they finished this year. I think they'll actually finish lower than where they finished this year. I've got Lomax as their top point scorer, which isn't really all that bold realistically. But I think Jack Bird will get their players player. And I think that young Sloan will end up being their top try scorer.
Yeah, this is probably my least bold prediction, to be honest, knowing how things are looking. And, you know, the Dragons are that wildcard team. We spoke last week about how we could probably see them scraping into the 8 at best, and at worst, right down there, possibly winning the spoon. But I've got Sullivan, Amone, and the Feagai brothers to be severely underutilised as Hook favours the older players to the club's detriment. I feel like that's something that might happen too. I feel like Sloane's probably the only one that's exempt who's got to be in there. And the rest of them, I feel like, probably should, but they won't. And I feel like it's going to hurt the Dragons a bit.
I'm tipping Tyrell Sloan to be the super coach star of the year. I think he'll be the second fullback in lots of teams, and he'll average high 90s and be very good next year. I don't know what it means for them. I still think they're probably going to finish bottom 4. Let's get to the Canberra Raiders. Well, here's where we swung it and missed.
Barney,
Ollie,
let's jump off now.
Tipped them for the 2021 Premiership. Daggy tipped them for the minor Premiership, and Corey Harawira-Naira will be the Clive Churchill medalist. And Barney said they'll finish 2nd or 3rd. Ryan James will be Buy of the Year. Hudson Young will be a superstar in the second row.
I feel like we should also add that Barney did go on to tip them to win the Premiership too.
Yeah.
So I think all three of us ended up having them to win
As
the
premiers,
comp.
yeah.
And yeah.
But unfortunately, Ryan James wasn't Buyer of the Year, Barn.
No, not even close.
What
he
are you
had
saying
one or
for him
two
for
good games there where he started the season, but fell away dramatically, didn't he? I think they'll miss the 8 again, and I think Jack Whiten might even be pushed out by the end of next season. To be honest, Croker's going to struggle. They're going to try and keep him in there, but he's going to be dropped and possibly retire by the end of the season. And I can see Tom Starling being the starting hooker by the end of the season with Hodgson moving in to probably play a bit of 7 at different times during the year, especially towards the back end, because I think they're going to have some problems in the halves that they're going to try and fix with Hodgson.
Wow. I'm tipping that Jared Croker will be dropped and moved on by the end of the year, whether that's retirement or England. I don't think he'll be playing in the National Rugby League by this time next year. And I think Josh Hodgson might be pushed out as well. I think he could end up somewhere, maybe even north of the border. But Ollie?
Yeah, so I've not necessarily got Jack Whiten to be pushed out of the club, but at some point in the season, I think he's going to be dropped from the side and playing reserve grade at least for a few weeks, because we've spoken about it ad nauseum about how he needs to be moved to either the centres, the second row, even lock. He's just not a 6, and especially without that game-controlling 7 in the side, he's going to struggle. But I feel like the Raiders will persist with him at 6 because he won the Dally M medal 2 years ago at 6 when he had a halfback in Aiden Caesar with him. But I just feel like he'll be dropped at some point in the season for his form, and when he comes back, they'll probably play him at 6 again.
Fair enough. Interesting year for the Canberra Raiders, isn't it? I look forward to see how that unfolds. Is Ricky keep his job?
Probably. He won't. If he gets sacked, it'll be end of the year. I think he at least is safe for the duration of 2022.
Nothing to add?
No, I don't think that. I can't see him getting rid of Ricky. I think they'll get rid of half the player base before they get rid of Ricky.
Probably. Yeah, I said interesting times ahead there. The top of the bottom 8, Cronulla. Last year, Trev Smith tipped John Morris first coach sacked. I said that Shane Flanagan will be appointed for 2022. Barney said Fafita to be dropped and pushed out of the club. John Morris sacked by round 12. Blake Brayley MVP, and they will miss the top 8. Surprised if they win 2 from the first 8. That's not bad, Barn. Was Brayley the MVP?
No, I'd say Will Kennedy probably was, but he would have been up there. He was one of their top, probably 3 or 4 players. So.
And Ollie tipped John Morris getting sacked, so I guess we all smelt the blood into water last year. Barn, what hopes do you have for next season?
I honestly think we'll make the top. Sharks will make the top 8 this year. Coming, I think they'll finish around 7th. I think Cameron McGuinness and Hines will have the most influence on this team. I think those 2 buys will have a dramatic impact on the attack for the Sharks. I think Fafita will retire by the end of the season. Raymond, the top try scorer, and I actually think Toby Rudolph's going to have a season where he drops off a bit. To be honest, I think he's going to,
as opposed to this year, he dropped off a bit.
I think he's going to struggle even worse. I think he's going to go regress and possibly not find himself in the team by the end of the year.
Ollie?
So I've got, obviously we know Cam McInnes, he busts his ass, he'll be an absolute workhorse. But people also, and rightly so, talking up Dale Finucane and Nico Hines. I'm not saying either of those blokes will have a bad season, but I'm tipping Cam McInnes to easily be the best signing out of those 3, and that he will be presented Cronulla's player of the season at the end of the year.
Exciting to see him back, hey?
Yeah.
See what he brings to the club. My prediction for, I think they'll make the 8, but my prediction for the Sharks is Nico Hines will be named at New South Wales number 14.
Oh, nice.
Off his hot form at the start of the year. We're halfway through, so we might have a celebrity comment. Action Bailey sent in his thoughts on a bold prediction, so we'll play that now. Or we won't. What's going on here?
Please stand by.
From Penrith's epic grand final win last week, but I'll give the bold prediction.
Here we go. Action.
G'day, boys. Action Bailey here, at Fat Harry Lady on all the socials. I'm still coming down from Penrith's epic grand final win last week, but I'll give these bold predictions a go. All right, number 1. Cam Munster will sign with the 17th franchise as the marquee man. Number 2. Nathan Brown will be the first coach sacked. And number 3, Penrith won't be in the top 4 next year. The last 2 years will have taken their toll on the young boys, and the other teams have figured us out in attack. Unless something changes at fullback, we will struggle to score points. Cheers, fellas. Now I'm gearing up to go to the Redcliffe tomorrow and watch the mighty Wynnum Manly Seagulls take on North in the Q Cup Grand Final. I hope you're all watching. Furthermore, I'd like to personally invite the Footy and Frothies crew up to Queensland next year to attend a Wynnum
Oh, broke it.
game and sink some tins in the chook pen, just as I am aiming to be in Penrith for round 1 next year. Surely Queen Anna opens up the borders by then. Anyway, love your work, boys.
Thanks, Action. Awesome
nice.
to hear from him. Well done, and awesome that my production skills managed to pick up my phone going off at the same time. So good from me. I agree with all of them. I think there's some very good predictions
ones
there.
there. Yeah, interesting from a diehard Panthers fans got a miss in the top 4.
Yeah. We might, I haven't even thought of this, but we might do some predictions on Redcliffe at the end.
Yep.
Maybe where the new franchise we see it heading. We'll take that under advisement as we move on and get to the bottom of the top 8. The Gold Coast. Actually, no, I'll read out a few more. Evan said Souths will miss the 8 next year. Brad Arthur will be sacked after round 6. And from our great mates at PCTC, some of the crew there wrote in with some predictions, which I did not copy and paste, so I'll read them later. Last year's Gold Coast Titans tips were: Tino will have a better season than Fafita and be the Titans' best player outright. Is that a yay or a nay?
He had a better season than Fafita. He'd be up there for best player, but I don't think he pips Mo. I think Mo's probably was our best player, so I'll give myself 0.5.
0.5. Barney, how are you rating it?
I think he probably, on a consistency basis, I think he probably was their best player of the year, to be honest.
Was he better than Fafita? Fafita won them more games, but I think that's fair enough.
Absolutely. Yeah, I think he was better than Fafita.
Yeah, no, fair enough there. As I've just got those other ones up now, but what else was said here? Barney, Titans top 8. Tino will be the Daily M second rower of the year. No.
Well,
who was the other one? It was Kikau
and Papali'i. But I mean, if Justin Holbrook didn't screw around with the forward pack so often and had him playing prop half the time, then you might have been right there, Barney. But so we'll blame Holbrook for that one, I reckon.
I had them in the top 4. I had Holbrook as coach of the year and AJ as fullback of the year. I was all in on the Titans this year. Trev tipped him for the wooden spoon. So this year, Ollie, what are you saying?
Yeah, this is going to be a bit of a somber one. The Titans will be the disappointment of the season. They'll miss the top 8. They won't finish bottom 4, but they'll miss the top 8 relatively easily. I sort of feel like they'll be out of the hunt for the 8 with a couple of weeks to go. I feel like there is room to improve on this season. I'm just not sure how much they'll improve. They've not shown me that they'll improve a whole lot. And the big kicker is as well, your teams like Brisbane, Cronulla, Canberra are still going to be thereabouts. Newcastle, I think, will drop off a bit, but still be thereabouts. There's more competition for that 8th spot than there was last season. I think that's going to hurt the Titans.
It's a weird year, as I said, because it feels like, I feel like every team's regressing next year, bar maybe 2. So does it bring them closer, or does every other team they all suck? So it's like a sliding scale.
Crap teams are getting a bit better, and the teams who were good are dropping off a bit, so they're going to meet somewhere in the middle.
Yeah. Barn, what are you saying about the Titans?
Yeah, I've got them finishing 8th again. I think you'll see minimal improvement. The one place that they can improve is obviously I think they'll get a bit more from their fullback than what they got out of AJ at different times this year. I think that Campbell will be a constant threat and probably their player's player and top try scorer by the end of the year. I think their forwards will be strong, but again, I think they'll struggle in the outside backs. And yeah, can't really see them moving forwards or backwards. They're going to sort of stay in the same spot.
My tip is that Toby Sexton will have 20 plus try assists next year. It's having a big year for Sexy Sexton in his first full-time first grade gig. Hopefully he gets the gig. That's the Gold Coast Titans. Now the PCTC feedback, our official.
Oh, sorry. Is it 5 games for Rookie of the Year?
Yes.
If it is, I'm pretty sure Campbell played 5 games this year. So
yeah, because
I would have him as being Rookie of the Year next year.
I was going to ask that at the end, but yeah, we will do that. Yeah, so from PCTC, some of the feedback, Kelly and Brock, is that our man Brock? No?
Yep.
Dragons top 4, Bulldogs top 8, Munster contract torn up, Scotty Tuzel, the Mighty Panthers back-to-back, Anthony Wilson, Tigers coach sacked after 5 rounds, Raiders will miss the 8, Cowboys to make the 8 just. And Broncos and Bulldogs will make the 8 as well. Are the tips from him. Gaz was working on the reverse mock and tipping Para to miss the 8 in the hope that they might have a bit more success. So good job, Gaz. Let's get to Newcastle.
Just a bit of clarity. Wilson is a Cowboys supporter as well. So
It does explain it. Newcastle Knights. The hell did I put my notes? There they are.
yeah.
Ollie tipped that they will miss the 8 easily and that Mitchell Pearce will leave. Barney tipped that Jack Jordans will take Fitzgibbon's starting spot by halfway through the year and Connor Watson will be a superstar at 13. And Daggy tipped that Connor Watson's move to lock will see him in the top 4 in the Dally M medal. I am going to tip them this year, though, to finish in the bottom 4. I think it's going to catch up with them. I think Aiden O'Brien?
Might as well be.
The non-Coolmore O'Brien will be moved on. And I think either Ponga or Pearce will leave the club this year. I can see Kalen Ponga leaving the club now. So what are you thinking, Barney?
You just rinse and repeat of what you just said. I've got him missing the 8. O'Brien getting sacked. I've got Ponga and Pearce both leaving. Ponga to be the franchise man for the 17th team in Queensland.
Yep.
And Pearce might even end up there with him, to be honest.
Well, we'll say that off air. There's not exactly a wealth of halfbacks around.
No. And if we get one more year out of him while they try to size up somebody else, it's probably not a bad option.
Well, here's the thing. They're not going to want to start a club with Ash Taylor at 7, are they? So
you wouldn't think so.
They're going to want someone. Ollie.
This is kind of crazy because I didn't even remember my bold prediction last year for Newcastle, but it's pretty much the exact same, and it's very similar to you boys. I've got him missing the top 8, but I've also got Mitchell Pearce having left the club halfway through the year. I think he goes before the season ends, and if I had to tip right now, I'd say probably Catalans over in the UK just because they're apparently looking at him, and I'll go even further. I'd say they sign him thinking he'll have a James Maloney impact, and he won't.
How many tries will Jared Croker score in the UK next year?
In the UK, well, if he can stay fit, between 15 and 20, a nice respectable.
Yeah. That Kevin Aguama is a good player these days.
He'll let in about 30 though.
Yeah, defense doesn't matter over there.
That'd be a record, only letting in 30 tries for a centre.
Parramatta. Well, didn't we go hard? This has been the weirdest. I think it's because Davey Ray's left, but I've turned around on Parramatta. I used to hate him. Now I don't mind him. Mark my words is what I said. Mitchell Moses to be shopped around by round 15 and Brad Arthur sacked. Ollie, Daniel Alvaro to cement himself in the top side as the top prop.
I think it was within the next week.
Which side was he?
It was within the next week. He went to the Dragons. It might have even been the next day.
Barney, Eels finishing closer to the top 8, to the bottom of the top 8 than the top. Dylan Brown will be the top 3 Dally M. The top 3 in the Dally M's, and Brad Arthur will be sacked. Barney, what do you got for us?
Yeah, I think Parramatta's going to make the top 4 this year. Coming, I've got Mahoney to be their best player. by a fair way. I think if he stays on the field for them, he's going to be a big part of what they're all about. And I think he will start at hooker for Queensland in the State of Origin. And I've got Dylan Brown to leave the club.
What are you saying?
So I've got the Eels to drop to their lowest finish in 4 seasons. That'll be 7th, I'm tipping, as they lose both Gutherson and Marnie to the new Brisbane club.
Wow. I'm tipping Dylan Brown leaves. I'm tipping Marnie goes to the new Brisbane club. But I'm also tipping Mitchell Moses for the Dally M medal. So I've come back around on Mitch now. Fantastic end of the year. I think he will springboard off Origin and springboard off his finish this year, and will be even a little bit less of a flat track bully. Might average 40 on some of the slow tracks as well.
The worry is, though, for Mitch Moses, I've noticed a pattern. 2017, he had a really good year, dropped off 2018. 2019 had a really good year, dropped off 2020. Had arguably his best season in 2021. Hopefully,
when's his contract up?
End of 2023, 24. He just re-signed it. He
did. He signed tier extension.
Apparently going to sign with Brisbane, yeah.
Yeah, he signed tier extension. That's right. Because he was done deal at Brisbane for a while there.
Apparently, yeah. Unless
because Gumpy had been told by someone who you would know he'll be at Brisbane within weeks.
But he did say unless Parramatta up their offer, which
obviously they did. Yeah. But they can't keep all of them. I think I can see Brown.
Well, to add to mine, I feel like they'll make the wrong choice and go all in on Gutherson, and possibly a Niokore and a Papali'i might go as well, but they'll fail. As in, they'll go in hard for Gutho, and then the new Brisbane team will come in, slap 900K down, and that'll be it.
I'd love Niokore at the Tigers. I don't know. Like, if you're going to find someone, I would love to have him, because he can cover, he can defend in the centres, he can play front row, and he can tackle in the back row. So,
well, there was a period there where Niokore and Opacek were probably the best, the form centre combination in the comp.
The Sydney Roosters. Last year, I said they will come out red hot and then limp their way into the top 8 once age catches up with them. I don't know if age caught up with them, but it was. That's not far off. I'm giving myself a ding.
Yeah.
Okay, it's long. Barney's predicted them to finish 6th. Radley, lock of the year, and Robbo will move to France by the end of the year.
He's not moved to France. However, Barney, he has signed on as, I think it's either the manager or he's on the board now, a French rugby league, I think. So
right.
There's a little something there for you.
Something there. You get to half mark. Ollie said they'll finish 4th or 5th with Penrith. They finish 5th?
Yeah.
Yeah. They will regret letting Flanagan go because Sam Walker and Lamb will both struggle.
I hate Sam Walker.
He's
beaten my
At
team
different
twice
times of
and
the
I
year
got
they
it
did
wrong.
struggle, but overall I think they did well enough.
Well, I guess you could say to an extent maybe they missed Flanagan when Keary went out, and maybe it would have been nah.
Well, what are you saying for this year?
This year, the Roosters are going to win the comp. I think that we've said Luke Keary and the rest of the cavalry coming back and at full strength, tipping them to win the premiership. There aren't that many teams who are improving for 2022. We established this, especially in the sort of the top 4, top 6. I think the Roosters will be the only team, at least that on paper, we can see improving with the players coming back. It'll be like they'll be like new signings. It'll force them to play a bit different, and they'll surprise a few teams. And I think they'll go all the way. In terms of the regular season, I've got them finishing 2nd, which is above the Melbourne Storm. I'll just say that for now.
I'm tipping them for minor premiership. I think they're the team that I can see on the up from last year, where I'm suggesting a lot of teams have peaked. I think they're the one that I was just so impressed what they achieved this year and what they've got to come back. But I'm tipping minor premiership for them, and Angus Crichton, Clive Churchill medalist this year.
Very good. I've got the Roosters to finish in the top 3. I think Keary is going to come back. He's going to have the most try assists for anybody in the competition and win the Dally M medal. I expect Joseph Suwali to be a permanent starter by about round 10 of the competition. And I'll double down with Radley as lock of the year, same as last year.
They've got a rep full. They got a rep forward pack next year.
Yep.
They got Lindsay Collins back, and Guzzy Crichton, Radley,
And young Egan Butcher's come through as well, and the other one I forget. A couple of the young boys.
Fletcher.
Yeah, Fletcher Baker as well have come through.
Tilly there as
Yeah.
well. who
Exciting
probably
times
ends
for,
up in
at the Roosters.
Well, I think we've all got him in pretty high stead. So
We haven't even mentioned
That's
Joey Manu.
the GOAT.
Where's Joey? Top 10 still?
I think, top 10, and he's playing for a contract probably at the Warriors if they're going to splash the cash at him. So he's going to have a big year to earn that money.
Let's get to Manly. The Seagulls last year. Ollie tipped that Cade Custer will be forced out due to lack of opportunity. Barney tipped Morgan Harper top try scorer and will take Brad Parker's spot. They'll finish 8th at best, and Ben Travojevic will be Rookie of the Year. I said they will make the top 6 bolstered by their young forwards. Turbo and Foran will stay fit and lead them to plenty of points. I think that's the first one I've got right the whole time. And we had a couple of people write in and tip them for the grand final, which they weren't far off.
No.
I'm going to say for next year, Ola Kawatu, Dally M's second rower of the year is my bold prediction. I think they finish 4th or 5th if Turbo stays fit. If he doesn't, then they finish 10th. Ollie?
This is considering that teams are starting to work out Turbo, especially in the final series. Some teams will pick up on it. So even with Turbo in the side, whether he's in the side or not, at some point in the first half of the season, Manly will go on a minimum 3-game losing streak, and they will drop out of the top 4. I'm thinking probably 5th right now.
Barn?
Yeah, okay. I've got Manly just scraping into 4th position. I think obviously Tom will be everything for them in their attack. I'm going to go with what I've been saying they should do for probably 2 seasons now, and Jake will end up in the front row by the end of the season with young Schuster going back into 13. And I'm expecting a massive year out of Paseka. I think he's going to be one of the better front rowers running around by the end of the season.
Yeah, he's looked good at times, didn't he? And he just he hasn't had a lot of opportunity. He was injured for a bit, but yeah, Manly will be fine. Any Insta feedback, Ollie?
Yeah, we did get some Insta feedback from a couple of people that we know. One of them, your brother, the Flobestino, as we like to call him, Rob. Keen to see him tomorrow and have a chat to him. He says Penrith to go back-to-back, but the grand final will be Penrith versus Para, and he's also tipping the Tigers for the wooden spoon. So a bit of a jab at his older brother there.
Where's one from JP?
Yeah, we've got one from JP Amos, who part of the Virtus Rugby League Academy. He's a former assistant coach at the Melbourne Storm and the Sydney Roosters, so it's great to have him right in. He says, Manly minor premiers beating the Storm in the GF by 4. If he gets this right,
he's getting the plaque.
He would just about get the plaque, yeah. And we've got one here from Benny, who just says, Warriors 2022, baby. So we take that as a premiership prediction. So
he's a good man, Benny. If it's the Benny I'm thinking of, we'll get him on the show next year. Yeah, good man. Good fan of the show, a good super coach man. So we'll actually get him on. Shout out to him. Get him on for next year. South Sydney Rabbitohs. Last year.
Melbourne.
Oh, Melbourne. Oh, we're doing the finals thing, are we? Okay, yeah. Gotcha. That's fine. I did not write down the Melbourne Storm predictions. Munster, Trev tipped Munster for the Dally M. I did write them down here somewhere. I tipped that they will finish the season with both the Kiwi and Australian hookers in the team. Was that a yay or a nay? Is Harry Grant the Australian hooker?
No.
Probably not off finals.
No.
Cook probably edged him back out.
I think Cook probably edged him. And you could make an argument too for Coruscant, just how he ended the year. Well, I'm thinking if there's...
No, Cheese get the Kiwi.
Cheese is a Kiwi hooker.
Yeah, he's a Kiwi hooker.
Yeah, Coruscant's New South Wales. I think Cook gets it on his finals efforts.
Yeah, it'd be Cook, definitely the front runner.
Barney said that Welsh and Munster will co-captain the team. Pappenhausen will be fullback of the year. Nico will ask for his release halfway through the year, and Bellamy will retire. Olam Ollie said Olam will become the game's best centre and Dally M centre of the year.
He's a
They've
beast.
got one.
He's a
He's a beast, the Kummel.
All right. What are you saying for next year, Oliver?
For next year, well, I've got Melbourne regressing a little bit to third, but I've got a specific prediction. So I've got Penrith winning the minor premiership, as a bit of a spoiler there, and the Roosters finishing second. So my tip is the Storm will go 0-2 against the Panthers in the regular season and lose at least once to the Roosters.
0-2 against Penrith and lose to the Roosters. Okay.
At least
enough.
once,
That's
possibly
good.
both times.
That's a good bold prediction. I am saying that they regress a lot. I actually have them finishing 7th by the time I wrote out my top order. And I'm saying Cam Munster leaves. He'll either fuck up again or he'll sign with Redcliffe. Or both.
I think all you'll need is for Melbourne to finish 7th. You don't even need your whole prediction. I think you'll get the plaque if that happens.
Because I'm saying that they're missing a few early, only one game, but there's a lot they've got to get right next year. And I'm interested to see what happens. Barney.
Yeah, I'm going to go with them just to miss the top 4. I've got them actually in 5th. I think they'll still be competitive in the final series and probably make the preliminary final and get knocked out in that one. Similar to this year. Got Munster going up to the Queensland team that gets introduced, and I think Cheese might follow him up there as well, to be honest.
Right.
I've got Coates as their top try scorer, and I think Pappenhausen may struggle at different parts of next year.
South Sydney Rabbitohs. So last year, Barney said that they will finish top 3. I'm going to play it up. Ding! Why isn't my buttons working here? Oh, there we go. That Arrow will be buy of the year. No. And Sewell will have a breakout year. He had a breakout final series? I don't think he did. I wouldn't say
he's good at times, but not good enough.
He's off to the Dragons next year, so
I'd argue he was slightly disappointing.
No.
Ollie, Corey Allen will stay at the Bunnies and be fullback. He is a better fullback than Latrell Mitchell.
Ooh.
Sorry, what?
I completely forgot I made that prediction, and all year we were going on about this Dragons thing. I think that's well and truly topped it.
Close.
If I tip a player to have a good year, by next week, they're going to have been released to another club and flop.
Or they'll retire.
Yeah. Well, we're going to have to start making a team. So Daniel Alvaro's captain and prop, and Corey Allen can be the fullback.
I still need GTs, and I still need my mispronunciation. Daggy tipped that the addition of size in the forward pack will see them easily in the top 4, and they are grand final material. And more importantly, they'll finally have a decent Anzac Day jersey. I thought the blue one was all right. It was inoffensive.
Yeah, it was pretty good.
You
have Mark Nichols and Tom Burgess to thank for that, I think.
I do. Yeah, I think so. The Professor, all our favourite. I think if we all
in terms of the size to the four.
Hasn't the Professor just leapfrogged into our favourite teams?
Just on a side note, did you bloke see his acceptance speech when he got Players Player?
Did.
No, I missed it.
He goes. I usually try to go under the radar, and somehow this year I've managed to have a breakout season. It was pretty good.
Yeah.
The bloke's perfect. He's even good at speeches. Talk the house down.
Hang on a sec.
It was fantastic. I had to score tries. I had to make tackles.
That's right. Yeah.
Set up tries.
I had to actually do something.
Do you one better? If I can find it. What's your tip, Ollie, while I look for this?
Yeah, so I'm tipping South Sydney to just scrape into the top 4. I feel like the loss of Adam Reynolds, surprise, will be big. And without having that out-and-out 7, I know Blake Taft's got tendencies, and I think he will be the 7 to start the year. Other than that, you pretty much got Milford and Walker in the halves, who are 2 running halves. So I don't think that'll work out too well, which I think it also impacts Cody Walker's form because he's going to have to do more work. In saying that, I'm tipping the man who I tipped last year to not be the best fullback at South Sydney, Latrell Mitchell, to win the Dally M medal.
I like it. I like it a lot. Now, this is the Professor.
I spent most of my career trying to fly under the radar, and this year's been a bit unexpected. I've had to start games, I've had to captain the club. I've had to score tries. I've had to give speeches. Again, tonight I've got to give a speech, but
Yeah, the great man.
Can I change my Dalian medal pick? I've just listened to
I'm saying that Reynolds is a massive loss, and I'm saying their other losses are big losses as well. I think they still finish 4th or 5th. I'm tipping Latrell Mitchell off the back of the way he finished this year to have a massive year and 25 plus try assists.
Will that also be 25 plus Dalian points by the end?
There you go.
Hopefully.
I think it's Latrell's in the year next year. Barn?
Sorry.
Sorry, no, you go.
No, tip Payne Haas last year, so he won't win it. Sorry.
We'll reconfirm all our bold predictions at the end there. Barney?
I think South will drop 4 or 5 positions, to be honest. I think I've got them finishing 6th or 7th at the end of the season. I think their attack's going to be a shadow of what it was this year. I can't see them being as lethal on the edges as they were. Murray will get their players player, and I'm pretty sure he'll be captain for the team next year.
Yeah.
And as with you guys, Latrell will have the most tackle busts, the most tries, and possibly the most try assists, and be their go-to in attack.
Very good. The Penrith, no, the Mel. I'm all confused now. Penrith is all that's left.
Yes.
That's right. Sorry, I've written it in later order. Silly me. Penrith. Last year, I tipped them to miss the top 8. Barney tipped them 4th, and Linu will become the starting prop. Stephen Crichton, the New South Wales centre. And Ollie tipped that Luai will clearly have the better season than Nathan Cleary. You may as well tell us what you think of is going to happen with the Premiers.
Yeah, well, this is this isn't necessarily the biggest prediction or the most outlandish one to be making a finish up unfortunately, but I've got Isaac Tago, Trav's boy, to establish himself as a first-grade centre and win Rookie of the Year. Penrith, I think he's going to start at centre next year. They need a centre in there. They've got Burton going, and they're not going to be playing Charlie Staines next year. So either position he can fill in for. I think he can also play a bit of second row, but I feel like centre will be his position in 2022. And at the moment, I'm tipping him for Rookie of the Year. Isn't it? It's just disgusting how there's always next one up for Penrith, isn't it? Someone's gone and they've always got a boom rookie who's coming in. And I think that'll be Tago.
Appalling. Barn?
I've got Penrith to finish in the top 3, but I do have them missing the grand final next year. I think young Eddie Blacker will get a handful of games during the year, and I think he'll cement himself as a good future prospect coming through. I'll double down again with Linu. I know I missed this year, but surely he gets a starting spot by the end of next year. And Kickout will go.
Yeah. I'm saying I've crossed it out, but I said they'll miss the top 4, but I've penned it because of lack of opposition. I'm saying Charlie Staines and Tyro May are both gone from the club by the end of next year, if not sooner. And I think Kiko goes as well and goes to Redcliffe.
Tyron may have to break up with his missus first.
Yeah, well. Anyway, let's not talk about that. I think Staines might end up in England by the end of next year.
Does Nathan Cleary have a cousin that Staines can date?
He probably
Keep
does.
him-
I don't
keep
know.
him-
I'm
keep him
not
at the
across
club.
the Cleary family tree. That's it. That's our.
Oh, we're doing a
We've got a bit more to do, but that's it for the ladder. And I'm just going to double check. That's it for all of last year's predictions. So we need to agree on the winner of last year's bold predictions. I thought
It's Barney.
I think it's Barney. I think we just give it to
It's
Barney
Barney.
for across the board. You nailed Brisbane. I think you nailed South. And you nailed
Cronulla, wasn't it?
Cronulla. Yes, you got Cronulla right. You got well, you didn't get JO right, but you got South right. And there's another one you got right. I think Barney, you're our inaugural winner of the bold prediction show. I will do something nice for you.
Oh, thank you.
Let's name the award after
Cheers
him
tomorrow.
from here on out. We've got
The
the,
Barney
Dag
Bold
Ams,
stuff.
the Ollie Lewis. We've got the Barnabas Bold predictions.
There we go. I like it.
We never did find out who our player of the finals was, did we?
We didn't go back and do the stats. We'll do it and throw up a graphic.
Let's say Cleary. Actually, no, it was Cam Murray. Let's just say it was Cam Murray.
I'll go with
Murray or Yo.
Brian Kelly.
I'll actually go and listen back, and I'll send you the actual numbers.
Thanks, Barn.
No
So
worries.
congratulations, Barney, our inaugural bold prediction winner.
Beautiful.
And another award for your little trophy cabinet in the garage there. So let's just tick off a couple of things. Your buy of the year for now. No, well, we've got to do buys. Who do you think's the headline acts for Redcliffe? Barn?
As I mentioned a few names on the way through. I'm pretty sure Ponga will go back there. He's got next year. He's still contracted to the Knights, but it's in his favour. So if they come knocking, he's a Queensland boy. As a marquee number one up there. As I said, I wouldn't be surprised if Pearce and Munster both go as well. So I can see that being their inaugural halves starting. And if Munster goes, I'm pretty sure Cheese might follow him up there as well. So you've got a pretty good 6, 7, 9, and 1 there to start off with. So,
Ollie, what are you thinking?
Yeah, well, I said Gutherson and Marnie. I feel like the third to finish off that big trio, it's got to be Cam Munster, and it's the worst kept secret in the game. Wayne Bennett's going to be the head coach.
Yeah, well, he was my first one. Wayne Bennett, head coach. And I'm saying that Ponga ends up there. I'm saying Reid Marnie ends up there, and I'm saying Munster. They're the three marquees. I'll start with
Kickout in there too.
And Kickout.
Don't be surprised if Kickout ends up there as well.
Kickout, I think, is almost I want to say certainty. He might be one of the shortest price to be out. I think Munster and Kickout will be the first two they'll sign somehow. And Bennett. Look for that announcement soon. Your buy of the year for next year, I'll say Jackson Hastings. Why not live in hope? Ollie?
Buy of the year next year, Cam McInnes.
Barn?
Yeah, I mentioned a couple on the way through. McInnes will be up there in Hines, but I honestly think Tavita Pangai Jr., I think he would have learned a little bit, even though it was only a couple of weeks at the Panthers. He seemed, once he did leave Brisbane, that he did have a bit more of a professional edge to him. And if he can take that to the Dogs and be their leader for their pack, I think he'll be the buy of the season.
We all agreed Cowboys wooden spoon.
Yeah.
Is that right?
Yep.
Premiers.
Yes, I'm tossing up between the Roosters and Manly at the moment. They're my two go-tos. I'll probably just go Manly to be a little bit different.
So you're thinking they're bit of seasoning for their back row is going to
Yeah,
work.
and I think I really think that Jake needs to go into the front row just to stiffen up that middle, and they can get someone else that can ball play and play on the edge as well as Schuster and Olakatau. So
I'm saying the Roosters.
I'm saying the Roosters as well, but I guess to give a bit more to my prediction, I say they beat Penrith in the grand final in a reverse of 2003.
Your rookie of the year is a tricky one, as always, but if Jaden Campbell's eligible, I think it'll be him.
Well, I've got young
Is Toby Sexton eligible?
Oh, yeah.
Well, there you go. I'll give you Sexy. Why not?
it's yeah, I'm pretty sure it's 5 games, and I know from what I looked at, I think
It is
Sloan's
5
played
games, but I don't know
7,
if
so that leaves.
Okay.
I was looking at Sloan, but I'm pretty sure he's played 7 now, so that gets him out of the running. I'd be going with Jaden Campbell, but because I'm pretty sure he's played the 5 games, but there'll be someone that nobody's ever heard of that'll stick their head up and play it. You know,
That's true.
someone will get a go somewhere that we haven't heard about.
Well, that's why I've sort of gone Tago as well, because it is usually someone who people have heard. He's played first grade,
Yes,
but he's a bit under the radar. But it's
there
sort
wouldn't
of
be
the
a lot of people
perf-
that know exactly who he is. Yeah.
It's sort of the perfect setup as well, because I think he will be playing centre next year. Penrith aren't going to go out and try and sign a centre for cheap that's currently on the market. I don't even know which centres even really are out there. So I feel like he's pretty much got it. Yeah.
And finally, your Daly M's. I touched on earlier. Mitch Moses from Latrell Mitchell for me.
Yeah, Latrell.
I said earlier, I'm going to go with Keary. I think he's going to make a massive difference to that Roosters team, and he'll be the centre point of, freeing up your Tedesco's and putting guys away on the edges. If it's not him, I'd be going with Cleary or Turbo, but yeah, I'm going to go with Keary.
Awesome. That is it. Oh, no. Yeah, that's it. That's it. Sorry. That is our bold prediction show. That draws the curtain on season 2021 from the Footy and Frothies team. It's been a pleasure, boys. Thank you for giving up your Wednesday nights every week to discuss footy and put up with my ramble for a couple of hours. I want to thank... we are going to have a couple of touch points, maybe once a month or whatever, over summer. catch up. Hopefully, have some interviews. I want to catch up with Tony Loxley, author of Very Tough Men, and talk his new book, and a few other things we'll organise with when we get a bit of time over summer. I want to go through and thank the Colonia Hotel and the Grey Gums Hotel, who hosted us before lockdown. Both fantastic venues and look after us very well. I want to thank our guests, the Gump, who was a regular before lockdown, Trev Smith, Todd O'Kelly, Damo, Dane and Johnny Blocky, as well as Alan Whittaker, who gave up his time for a show. And shout out to Gaz for his support, as well as the fantastic work he did in running our tipping comp through, running the tipping comp through PCTC, which we have jumped on board with. Thank you to all of them. Anyone I've forgotten?
Not off the top of my head, no.
Very good. Barn, anything you want to add before we have a well-earned break?
No, absolutely not. Just obviously thank you to yourself for putting in the time, putting this thing together and cutting it up for us and getting it out there. And and Ollie for giving us his time and a bit of leverage on his platform as well. So much appreciated, boys.
Definitely keen to see you both tomorrow over a couple back at the Gums.